Hi, it's your old pal Life the Impaler. Well, the Hawaii event is over, and guess who finished the quest chain? Spoiler alert, it was me. Autograph seekers, line up to the right. Women that want to date me, also line up to the right. We'll sort it out later. This was my first Coin Hunt World event where frostbite and slipping and breaking my leg weren't a constant factor. It wasn't easy, but I got through all 1,200 vaults on self-propelled power alone. Since the climate crisis has made weather forecasts more than an hour in advance basically worthless, I got caught out on 2 surprise sunny, high ultraviolet days far from home and was duly punished with some very strange sunburns. I also got this little souvenir when some idiot flung his car door open into the bike lane without looking first. But even after 1,200 vaults, my quest was far from over. My quest chain emergency was due to 2 self-created errors that I'm going to explain to you now so that you can learn from my mistakes. My biggest mistake was printing the Seal QB instead of the Surf QB to advance through the quest chain. If I had printed the Surf QB instead of the Seal QB, that would have saved me 1,000 Anthurium flowers that I then could have used to print the Turtle QB and finish the quest chain much sooner. In my defense, when I printed that Seal QB, I had just finished 2 long, hard days on the bike. I was exhausted, I was sunburned, and I was probably dehydrated. But the Seal QB was so cute. I mean, look at him. I can't be mad. He's adorable. My other, slightly less catastrophic mistake was buying a bunch of Tiki Warrior blueprints in the shop before I realized that I was going to need all those keys to buy Anthurium flowers in the auction house. So far, every quest chain event we've had has had one rare resource, but this time they did a bait and switch. In the first 24 hours of the event, when all I wanted in the world was plumeria flowers so I could print my Hula QB, the Anthurium flowers were dropping constantly. To be clear, the plumeria flowers weren't exactly scarce, but they weren't dropping in like vast numbers like they were after I finished my Hula QB grind, when I didn't need them anymore and didn't care. Meanwhile, the Anthurium flowers were still only dropping in bunches of 10, but they were dropping all the time. In the first 24 hours, I think I got like 600 of them. But the instant I printed my Hula QB, the Anthurium flowers were suddenly the rarest item in the game. Coincidence? Maybe, but almost definitely not. In my case, Anthurium flowers were harder to get than the shells. I know a lot of people had trouble getting the shells, but I got the 5 shells necessary to print the Turtle QB in like 2 days. By the end of the event, I had 12 shells, and then I got 5 more in my tickler box. But after 3 more maniacal days of hunting and a couple of lucky breaks in the auction house, I was able to finish the quest chain 2 days before the event ended. Here's a reenactment of me finishing the quest chain. Now that we've had 3 quest chain events in a row where one critical resource was super scarce, I think it's safe to assume that that's going to be the norm going forward. Of course, now that I've said that on video, I'm sure Illusion Weaver will think of a new and head-spinning way to make future quest chains impossible and or suicidal, so you're welcome. The Hawaii event was 9 days long, but some Canadian lunatic by the name of Lionlocks finished the quest chain in about 24 hours. I don't know how he pulled that off, but I'm willing to bet that 50 Red Bulls and a case of adult diapers were involved. The quest chain was slightly different this time. They added a blue key step, which hasn't happened before, and that blue key unlocked a participation NFT. How cool is that? After the green key step of the quest chain, the next goal was to open 100 vaults, which is pretty easy. And after that, we were rewarded with our first ever Tiki Warrior one-use randomizer blueprint. There were 27 possible Tiki Warrior QBs that could be printed from these randomizer blueprints. The developers had been slowly leaking images of the 27 Tiki Warriors in the weeks before the event, including this guy that I debuted in my previous video. Once enough people had printed and equipped their first Tiki Warrior QBs, the developers opened the in-game shop and we could buy as many of those blueprints as we liked for 2 green keys each. The catch with these one-use randomizer blueprints is that you end up with lots of copies. Out of the first 6 blueprints that I printed, 5 of them spit out the same 2 QBs. Illusion Weaver eventually confirmed the Wiki team's theory that the 6 Tiki Warrior QBs on the right were the rarest. So if you got 1 or more of those QBs, count yourself lucky. The ultimate utility of these Tiki Warriors is still unknown, but there's a popular theory that they'll act like the cat cubies, where if you throw one of each 27 cubies into a cauldron, you'll get an epic blueprint. As of this recording, there's been no word from the developers about whether or not this is true or how it would work. So print those cubies when you can and sit tight, and someday we might find out what kind of Frankenstein epic Tiki Warrior cubie we can make out of them. Finally, of course, we had the Sneaky Seal and Turtle cubie blueprints, which drop from the quest chain once you solve 400 and 1200 vaults respectively. Again, the Sneaky Seal and Surf cubie step of the quest chain was where I made that crucial error. I mean, I really wanted to see that cute seal cubie just hopping down the road, so my excitement and diminished mental capacity sabotaged me. If I'd had the brain power to realize that getting those additional 2,000 Anthurium flowers was going to be such a grind, I would have printed the Surf cubie with those good-for-nothing hibiscus flowers and then saved those Anthurium flowers so I wouldn't have to start from zero to print my turtle. By the way, if someone had shown that previous video clip to me 10 years ago talking about turtles and cubies, I probably would have assumed that I'd gone insane, but what can I say? This game is addictive. I think the lesson here is that no matter how many quest chains you've done, the developers will always find a way to throw a curveball in there and screw us. Every quest chain so far has had some panic-inducing element to it, and I'm pretty sure that Illusion Weaver was laugh-crying himself to death watching us all beg for more Anthurium flowers on Discord. What I'm trying to say here is the man is pure evil. Speaking of useless hibiscus and plumeria flowers, I know the instinct after these events is to sell off all of your unused resources in the auction house to try to reclaim some keys since we're all key poor. However, based on this recent quote from Cuckoo Puffs and how resources tend to come back each year, if you're not key desperate, I recommend hanging on to those resources because you never know, next year those resources might make the difference between you finishing the quest chain or not finishing the quest chain. We all like stats, so here they are. Here are the numbers for the resources and blueprints. I find that Anthurium flower number extraordinarily high based on my personal experience, but okay, we'll go with the data. The blueprints, I'm a little shocked that so few people got the turtle blueprint. I'm going to have to print a couple of those and sell those on the auction house at my earliest convenience. And here are the handful of fearless players that somehow managed to cobble together a purple key, hike up a volcano, and brave a purple vault for the chance at $1,000 in crypto. And oh, how did that get in there? Wow, I don't know. Oh, there's even a red circle. I'm not sure how that happened, but I guess accidentally printing the Sneaky Seal cubie when I should have printed the Surf cubie wasn't for nothing. This is unrelated to the Hawaii event, but since it happened during the Hawaii event, I thought I'd mention that the developers shortened the Hunter Mode dynamic rewards for perfect and great answers by half a second. And here is the new Hunter Mode dynamic rewards breakdown. For a perfect reward, you now have only 4.5 seconds. For a great reward, you have 11.5 seconds, and a good reward is still standing at 27 seconds. If you have no idea what I'm talking about right now, check out my slightly outdated video tutorial about Hunter Mode versus Chill Mode. That was the Hawaii event. If I left out something important or you have a fun story you want to share from the event, leave a comment down below. As always, please like and subscribe, and if you're new to Coin Hunt World and haven't established your headquarters yet, consider using my referral code. Doing so will get free loot for both you and me.